Hey guys, Eric Sachetta, leadership expert and author of the 8 Mandates of Personal Leadership, the student guide to take charge of your life, lead yourself, and make a positive difference in the world. So welcome to week 3 of our video blog. So that's what we're doing for 2014 is a weekly video blog. And again, for the first part of the year, we are going to break down one subsection from either the introduction or first chapter of my book, The 8 Mandates of Personal Leadership, and explain what it's about. And then I'm going to recommend you a book that if you were to take that one subsection and blow it up in a complete book, what book would I recommend? So today is all about making the transition. And simply what making the transition means is making the transition from just believing that things happen to you or this is who you are versus seeing that you play a role in what happens, building that belief in yourself. Really seeing that it's you that determine where you end up in life and not your circumstances. It's not that, it's not that you're a B student. It's that you studied to get the grades that are B. You haven't applied yourself to get an A. Or even if you say, I've applied everything I know, well, then maybe there's new strategies that you need to be able to get those better grades. Maybe if you're a salesperson and you're only doing, $50,000 in sales a year, maybe there's a new strategy you need, or maybe there's a new excitement that you need in your life or something like that that's going to get you to that next level. So what has happened in the past doesn't necessarily have to dictate the future. It's all what you make out of the situation that you're in. And are you learning new things, or are you growing skill sets? Are you making the difference you want to make? And how do you go from that sort of reactionary lifestyle to taking charge and saying, things have happened in the past, but I'm going to look past that and I'm going to say, yeah, maybe I was a B student, but how can I get A's? How can I sell $100,000 worth of my product this year? How can I find a job that pays me the money I feel I deserve? Or whatever your current situation is, it's all about making that transition. And what you got to do is you got to learn some things, and then you got to apply them as quickly as possible so that your mind starts to believe that you're the person you're becoming, not the person that you were. And really, deep down inside, you're always that person that deserves the money or the girlfriend or the grades and all that, but it just had to be brought out of you. And for today's recommendation, of course, we still got our book here, The 8 Mandates of Personal Leadership, but for today's book, I'd like to recommend you a book from another person who I didn't actually work with them, but they worked at the same company as me, Vector Marketing, Cutco Cutlery. And this person is John Vroman, and John is one of the most amazing guys I've ever got a chance to meet. Just like John Wasserman, who I mentioned in a previous video, who still works at Cutco and Vector Marketing, presence is a word that really comes to mind when I think of John Vroman. He's a nationally recognized keynote speaker on leadership, and one of the best leaders that I know. And when you talk to him, he's right there with you. And he's created this entire brand that's really built around the concept of living life in the front row. Not only is his speeches talking about living life in the front row, specifically living college life in the front row, but his foundation is called the Front Row Foundation. His coaching program has to do with, bringing your life into the front row. And his book, Living College Life in the Front Row, again, it is geared towards college students, but it's great also for parents. It's also great for anyone that can just take school and use it as an analogy. So where he's talking about school, you could talk about applying it to your work if you're someone who's finished with school. But highly recommend the book, Living College Life in the Front Row by John Vroman. And again, it's all about that concept of, John being a young person in his 20s and being at a concert one day and saying, why am I sitting up here in the back row and all these people are sitting in the front row? They look like they're having such a better time. And it doesn't literally mean you have to be in the front row at a concert, but it's a good metaphor. And his point is, why do you watch your life pass you by from the back? You got to be in the front row in the action, whether you're in college or a parent, you're recently graduating, no matter what your situation is, you got to think about that. That definitely can apply to your life and embracing that living life in the front row. And of course, with his foundation, what he does is he takes people that are going through tough situations and gives them a night out, their favorite sporting event, or meet somebody famous or somebody exciting, and get to live their night in the literal front row. And I think that's really awesome. And John's teachings is all about living the front row, and it's really about making that transition from a life of reaction, a life in the back row, to a life in the front row. And I think the key of doing it is really focusing on realizing that it is you that determines what happens in life. Your circumstances, you know, they got you where you are, but your decisions, your actions determine where you go next. And then your beliefs that you have, you know, they dictate your actions today. But if you could start to take some more of the right actions to live in that front row or to build that belief in yourself, then the momentum takes over. You know, the confidence, competence live. You know, you're confident. Now you're more competent to learn the next thing you need, you know, the psychology term, to take that next step that you need to. And all of a sudden you'll start that spiral and there'll be so much momentum, you'll forget about that person you were a few weeks ago, a few months ago, a few years ago. So one more time, Living College Life in the Front Row, John Vroman. You can check out his website, frontrowoncampus.com, or you can find his book on Amazon as well. And thanks again for watching our video today, our week 3 video blog. You know, make that transition, you know, start to live your life where you truly believe in yourself and your potential, and take action, because if you just change your belief, but then your actions don't follow, your mind will say, we really haven't changed. So you gotta take that transition. If you want to use John's phrase there, you know, go from the back row to the front row. Life's more fun, life's more engaging in the front row. So go out there, live a movie! Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week, and we'll talk to you soon.